Hey, good evening, everybody. Here's a quick tip on four project management styles, and I had wish I'd learned this earlier on in my career. So, if you can imagine each of these quadrants falling into the degree to which the problem is known and the degree to which the solution is known, let's start out with the first one. So, if you have a known problem and a known solution, that's waterfall project management. That's where you can plan out a detailed plan, know who all the stakeholders are, everybody responsible, involved, all that, and get that on paper and then go out and execute. That is great for building a building, a bridge, something that's pretty easy to understand up front. Some great tools for that are Gantt charts. You can also use earned value management, works well here. Um, Once you get away from knowing the solution, then it kind of turns into an agile project. So the problem is still known, but the solution is not readily known. This is great for software development and just kind of working through something where you don't really know exactly what the solution is going to be. This is really agile project management is what they call it. And so what we're trying to do here is iterate on the project so that we can have a managed approach to scope creep. And you want to welcome in that scope creep because you don't know the solution up front and you're working towards figuring it out as you go. So for projects like this, you kind of want to welcome that, pivot earlier on the project so that you don't end up building a solution that nobody needs or wants. The next quadrant is extreme project management. This is where the problem is unknown, solutions unknown, or the degree to which is pretty low for both of those. And in this case, it's really all about stakeholder engagement. You want to keep them engaged to the project, and you're kind of trying to get this to one of the other quadrants because you got to work on defining the problem and the solution. This is something where maybe your stakeholder, vice president or manager or director, whoever, they might say like, "Hey, I got this problem. I don't know much about it. I just know it's an issue. Go fix it." So you gotta really define more. What is the problem, uh, and then what are the solutions, or the solution that you have to go pursue. So you're gonna have to use kind of everything in your deck here: facilitation techniques, stakeholder engagement, research, anything you can kind of pull out of your back pocket. Um, this last quadrant here is the MRTs. It's basically just extreme spelled backwards. But here's when you have a solution. The solution's known, and the problem is unknown. And you might be like, "That's crazy. That's not a real thing." But it kind of is. So in some cases, you might have emerging technologies or something that's kind of a general solution that might apply to a bunch of other problems. And so what you're trying to do here is figure out where could this solution be applicable. So this is something like augmented reality, artificial intelligence, magnets when they first came out, kind of things like that, where they're just these kind of game changing events, and you got to figure out where do they apply. Um, in these situations, it kind of takes a certain team of people or project lead to really kind of think outside the box and figure out how are they going to do an assessment in a broad sense to figure out where this thing is applicable. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. Next time you're starting a project, maybe think about what quadrant it falls into, and you might not spin your wheels so much. Hopefully, this helped you. And if it did, maybe give me a like and a follow, and check out my company, Lean Tech Solutions. And I'll see you around. Thanks.